Welcome, everybody. My name is Susan Bechara. This is our first session with my talk show called Get to the Point. I'm glad that you can join us, and today I have excellent guests that is going to be sharing their personal stories and passion, and this is what the talk is about. And just keeping it honest, tell the truth and nothing but the truth, and no one is going to judge you. And I have I like to start my show with a special verse every time because we are a nation under God. So the first thing is to help tell you all to have a beautiful new year this year. And this is the verse that I'm going to be sharing today. It's from Chronicle 2, verse 14. And it says it's very, very relevant for our nation today. If my people pray to me, repent, and turn away from the evil they have been doing, then I will hear them from heaven, forgive their sins, and I will heal their land. And this is what we're praying for in this station. And for those of you who may not want to be agreeing in what the point is about, we're talking about healing of nation. Regardless what your belief is, I'm sure that God created good people, and we all want to heal the land that we live in. So let's get to the point. And my first guest is going to be Connie Clendenan, a good friend of mine.
Hi, Susan. Get to the point. You got to it right there.
Yes, there.
Second Chronicles. Way to go.
That's right, Connie. So, Connie, I am so glad that you're joining me today.
My pleasure.
I am so excited. We've been friends for how many years now?
Oh, I think about 25 or 30.
Oh, my goodness. We had fun, didn't we?
We were younger then.
That's right. Yes.
Now we're wiser.
Yes, that is so true. Well, I'm just so glad that you came because I know that you've been very involved in this community for quite a while. I've known you for 25 years, and you've been doing a lot of work in this community. Do you want to share about that a little bit? And I know that you just wrote a book. You know, you've been retired now for how long?
This is the beginning of my third year of retirement from Valley Teen Ranch, where I worked for 30 years and led that organization, and that's a group home, foster care, adoption, and transitional living home for delinquent, abused, and vulnerable young people.
Are you sure you're retired, Connie? To me, I don't think you're going to be retiring anytime soon.
Well, I haven't had any staff meetings, any board meetings. I haven't had to plan any events for 2 years now, so I think I'm retired, yes.
Well, tell me a little bit about your personal journey, why you chose that field, and why you're writing your books today.
Well, it's not uncommon for us to want to emulate what we learned from our parents. And I was very blessed to grow up on a rural farm in Michigan with godly parents who loved each other, loved God, and loved the 4 C's, as we call ourselves, Connie, Cliff, Chris, and Carol. This past year, my mother went to heaven. My dad went to heaven 9 years ago. So they're both up there hooping it up. And we will get there eventually, too. But I was very blessed to be raised in a home where there was love and kindness and God and church and food and fun and helping people. Okay. So I always knew I wanted to help people. And also, if you ask my 3 siblings, they would say I always wanted to be the boss. Okay. I'm the firstborn, and I call that a leadership responsibility. Mm-hmm. And so putting those 2 things together included me getting a bachelor's degree in psychology with the hope and anticipation, and eventually I did get my master's degree in social work from Fresno State. And then, but I've always been a person who cared about others. I kind of went for the underdog and wanted to help kids more than, other populations, but young people. And that's what my dad did too. And that's what my mom did too, even though my dad was the director of Youth for Christ. And he opened Teen Ranch in Michigan, which we are a replica of. And my mom was a leader in church, and she became a music teacher, went back to school.
So you have a lot of background with the church, right?
Yes.
Now, my question would be, did you face a lot of challenges while you were doing this?
Doing what? Just living life or Teen Ranch?
When you were running the organization, because it's a very difficult, because Fresno is not Michigan. You know, the mentality is a little bit different, right?
Yes.
So,
but no, I mean, my whole life has been, it's not just that I have faith or am a Christian on Sunday morning from 10 to 12. It's a part of my life. So wherever I am and whatever I'm doing has always including hope, and I call myself a hope dealer.
Okay.
And kindness.
So what is that hope dealer? Can you
somebody
who
bit? When the people are down and out or they have made poor choices and their opportunities are limited and they're giving up because they don't know what to do. Everything is bad. How come this happened? How come I was married to that guy? How come I went to that school? You know, things that come up that don't work out. And then people get discouraged and want to quit. So I'm here, and especially at Teen Ranch, where those kids are adjudicated into care, and none of us had a choice on a couple of things. We didn't get to choose who our parents were.
I know you and I work in that field a long time.
Yes.
We know that.
And we didn't get to choose who our siblings are. We didn't get to choose where we're born. We didn't get to choose the color of our skin, our gender. Those are things we had nothing to do with.
Right.
So we got to deal with what came along.
So now that you are retired, this is your first book, correct?
Yes.
Now, what got you to write this book? It's called Choice.
Yes.
I know I've read it. It's excellent. By the way, everybody, if you can get a chance to look at this book, it's easy to read and easy to understand. What got you to write this book, though? What was your vision? What got you into wanting to write this book? How could that reach out to the community and to the people that you're trying to reach to?
Well, another one of my girlfriends, who we've been friends for 30 plus years as well, and she actually was in foster care, not with Valley Teen Ranch, but in Southern California. And she had, you know, like many children in foster care, it's a difficult life. They've been abused, they've been abandoned, they've been neglected, and then they don't get what they want in the foster home, and the foster home says, we can't take you any longer, you need to go somewhere else, and more rejection and more rejection and more failure, and their hope is very, very low. And that was her beginning. But God came into her life in an amazing way when she was about a young teenager and gave her hope. And through her journey, she realized that there's more of a purpose in her life than just saying, oh, I had a bad life, I was in foster care, I'm a nobody. But she doesn't say that. And so she encouraged me, and we became friends. And like I said, I was part of her wedding and her daughter's life, and we're friends forever. And we've always said, when we retire, we want to change the world. I said, well, I really don't want to wait till I retire to change the world. I think we're changing the world now. And she got into the insurance business, and specifically for group homes and foster care and adoption agencies such as ours. And so in her journey, she did sell her business eventually that she started. And then she wrote a book. And then she began to talk to people about her book. And now she's encouraging others of us to write a book. So that was the encouragement that I got from her. And another one of my friends wanted to write a book quite a while ago. And I didn't know anything about writing a book, but I knew somebody who used to work at the Fresno Bee, Jerry Gabor. And so I hooked those two guys up, and they helped him write his book. And so I knew he could help me with self-publishing. So he became my editor, and he became the person to help me. You know, you have to get the Library of Congress, and you have to get a number, and you have to, you know, there's certain things that you need to do to get a book published and self-published. So he helped me do that, and it's been a year since it came out. But in that time, several unexpected things happened in my life. Many deaths of family or like family people, like 7 in 2019.
How do you deal with that?
It was very, very difficult. But fortunately, we all have faith. And whether it was my sister-in-law who was 57, or it was my mother who was 93, or it was my grandnephew who was just 2 weeks old.
Okay.
they all had faith. We all have prayer. We all have hope. We all know we believe in heaven and hell.
So in other words, what you're saying is that people with faith usually have more hope even after
I
death.
believe so,
I really
yes.
believe that too, and this is part of the reason why a lot of people are very fearful to talk about death, and it's just so many negative stuff that's just going around the world. So the people that have hope, right, needs to come to this station and bring the message of hope when they come to my talk show. And I'm hoping that what you're saying right now will encourage a lot of people to come out, because a lot of time people are not utilizing their freedom of speech anymore these days. They just want to go with the flow. We're being challenged quite a bit in today's life. Don't you agree?
Yes, we are. And that's why the rock, my foundation, is faith in Jesus.
Amen.
God.
Yes.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And no matter what struggle or disappointment or disaster or death happens in my life, and it's inevitable, stuff happens. Nobody gets out of this without having problems and challenges. I know, bottom line, get to the point that God is going to continue to get me through it. And He has, He is, and He will continue to. And I want to spread that kind of hope that I have chosen to other people if they want to choose it. I am not an evangelist. I am not a forceful person to get down on your knees and you accept Jesus because you're going to hell. I'm not like that. That's not my style. And I don't know that that's the most effective method anyhow.
One of the things that I enjoy being your friend, we've been friends for so long, actually your sister in Christ, is because I come from a country, right? I don't have that freedom to speak my mind. If I was in my own country, most probably I'll be in prison by now. Okay? But when I met you, when I came to the United States, I don't meet a lot of people like you who are very open, compassionate, and to actually utilizing the freedom that the United States have given us. And I felt very comfortable with you. We never have to pretend with one another.
Right.
Especially with women, right?
Yes.
We always tell the truth to one another.
Yes.
And that's why I invited you for my first talk show. Let's continue with this in a minute. Let's go to, let's take a little break, and then we will be right back with Connie Clendenan. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming back to the show as we continue our conversation with Connie Clendenan, the author of Choice. Okay, Connie, let's continue with our information about your book now. Let me ask you about the details of that book. I know I read it. It's really so easy to read and so easy to understand. But at the same time, I'm sure you know in every situation there's always going to be critics. Right, people who's going to say this or say that. We live in a world that people have a tendency to judge before they actually see what's going on. So what would you say some of the challenges that you had when you were writing this book?
Actually, Choices was not difficult for me to write. It was about things that I've lived in my life since I was a little girl, and I was taught. And I implemented it with our staff and the young people that we worked with at Valley Teen Ranch for all those years.
So you keep it real?
Yeah, I keep it real. And it's really written for anybody from age 10 to 100.
That's beautiful.
Because it's how to improve your relationships.
That's what I want you to explain so that you can explain to them chapter per chapter why you go in that, sequence.
Okay, so it's choices and how our choices affect our relationships, which in turn affects our life. And so the first chapter is the to-dos. And the first thing to help making our relationships work, whether it's at home or at work or in our neighborhood or church or wherever it is to show up on time. If you say you're going to be here at 11:30, I'm here at 11:45. If you say you're going to be, it starts at 8, you're going to be there right on time.
But don't you think that is so powerful if every young person is listening right now? Because isn't that the first training that you have to do when you apply for a job and going to school? Isn't that the first thing that you need to learn? Don't you think that's lacking a lot right now in the families?
But it shows when we do show up on time, it shows you that we're responsible, we're respectful of others, our word is good, they will begin to trust us. And really, in our relationships, we need trust. And so that's one of the very first things in the to-dos, a behavioral choice that we make that shows you that I respect you, I trust you, like today, you wanted me to you said be here at 11:30. I was here at 11:15. And I was ready to go and do whatever we're going to do.
It's true.
If I would have come here at 12 o'clock, you would have been calling, where are you? What's wrong with you? How come?
That's
told me, blah, blah, blah. And then our relationship would have taken a hit.
Yes, that's true.
So the first thing is to show up on time. The second thing on our to-dos is to tell the truth. And
now, that's a tough one.
It sounds
What
like
is truth?
common sense. Yeah, my truth, your truth, God's truth. The president's truth. Whose truth? Who's telling what's right and what's true and what's good? Well, I can only be responsible for me. I can't be responsible for the whole world. I can be responsible for me, and my word is good. And for 30 years, I led Valley Teen Ranch with integrity, which starts with telling the truth.
But don't you agree, at the end of the day, if we were to leave this earth right now, we're going to have to face the Maker, right?
Yes.
With the truth.
Yes.
And the only truth we have is ourselves, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my goodness. That is excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
So show up on time, tell the truth. Next, it's do your best. None of us are perfect. We can't be all things to all people all the time. We can't. It's impossible.
That's right.
But we can do our best in whatever choices that we have to make every single day. Whether that's getting dressed, brushing our teeth, making your bed, putting gas in your car before you run out, things that we can do to
common sense.
Practical
thing.
It is practical, and
that's
why
you're here. Get to the point.
But lots of people don't do that,
right?
And that makes a hit on our relationships.
Okay.
Then the fourth thing is to ask for help. Chapter 4 is key, and that's where many of us fall short. I can do it myself. I don't need any help. And I mean, we learn that from a little baby. Do you learn to say thank you first? No, me, mine, self. Those are things you learn from a little tiny baby.
Don't you think that we're living in an environment these days that we're so easily offended?
Yeah.
And prideful?
Uh-huh.
And I'm hoping that the show, that's why I started off with you, because I'm comfortable with you, right?
Yes.
Is to get to the point. No one is going to judge you. You can agree to disagree, but we can be respectful like brothers and sisters. And this is very good what you're saying right now. I'm getting excited now. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so that's the first half of the book. First 4 chapters. Then the second 4 chapters are the how-tos. How do we do those things? And that is 4 of my favorite 4-letter words. I have quite a few of them, but I just picked 4.
Okay.
And the first one is WORK, work. You got to work. You can't just be sitting at home waiting for somebody to send you a check, the government or your mother or your grandmother. No, you have to be responsible and get out there and find a job. And there are jobs for everybody. I cleaned houses to get myself through grad school. I washed windows to get the second part of grad school. You can do a job if you work and you put your mind to it and you do it good. So the first thing is...
Don't you think we're living in an environment right now of entitlement?
Kind of.
Especially in California.
I'm
just saying it the way it is, and if somebody out there is a little bit offended, I'm so sorry, but I'm not apologizing because that is the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God, and this is what it's all about. We're living in a world of entitlement lately. So we need to really change that mindset for a lot of our young people, what you're just saying right now.
Yes, and make a choice to get a job and be prepared. And then the second 4-letter word after work is obey, O-B-E-Y.
Obedience, you mean?
Yes. And I don't have to agree, but whoever is my boss, whoever is over me, God, other people, you're always going to have a boss down here, not just God. You got to first obey God. And he left us 10 rules
in
to
other
start
words, with our faith, maybe there are people who are listening right now may not be of our faith. I'm sure with other faith, they also have to believe in their God to be obedient.
Yeah.
Right? So obedience is very important.
Yes. And don't waffle. Don't change your mind. Do what's right and stick with it. So work, obey, and then love. And if I was talking to kids right now, I would say that's not to be compared with sex. because a lot of kids get confused on love and sex. And
with today's media, social media, boy, they are very confused about love.
Yes.
Maybe one of these days you may want to come back and we can sort of talk about it, right? The different types of love. Because, with the social media and all this modern family and everything else that's been exposed out there, I don't think it's really helping a lot of our young people. That's my opinion, because this is get to the point. So I'm going to tell the truth how I feel about it. If anybody else is not in agreement with me, I'm just hoping that they'll be respectful enough to come to my show and let's talk about our disagreement in a very respectful way, like adults.
Yes. So love, and then the fourth one is pray. And some people think praying is, talking in a funny language or talking in a funny voice or being on your knees or being in a closet or, wherever. People have some different ideas of what it is to pray. And praying is just talking to God, just like we're talking to each other. He made us. He understands us. He knows what we're about. And he wants to have a relationship with us. So how can you have a relationship if you don't talk?
So you're talking about agape love, right?
Yes. And
That's
then
awesome.
So those four things, work, obey, love, and pray. Those are ingredients that if you can incorporate those into your life every single day, in your relationships with people that you come in contact with, I can guarantee that your life and your relationships will be more significant, more long-lasting, sustainable, and more significant.
Now, I'm going to have a challenging question.
Okay.
Since we're both good friends,
Yes.
there are going to be audience out there,
Yes.
and they might think this is just a conversation because you're a Christian woman, I'm a Christian woman. They might think that we're just in agreement because we believe in the same God, we believe in the same Jesus, right? And there's going to be people out there that's going to say, that's not get to the point, right? They're going to be people challenging us because we have the same faith and say, well, this book is not for me. How would you let them know that we're not here to separate religion? It's not even about religion. How would you explain that to them?
I would ask questions. I always ask questions because nobody likes to be told what to do, especially with that finger pointing and like that. Nobody likes that method. That's not my style either. I would ask questions. What do you want to have happen in your life? Where are you going? What is your plan? What's working for you? What's not working for you? And help them to come to their own conclusion. And most people want the same things. And we all want to be loved. We all want people to be kind. We all want to be a somebody. We don't want to be a nobody. We all want to have a house, a roof over our head, and, burgers and fries. We want all those things. That's stuff. But really, it's about a relationship. And that relationship is built on trust and respect and honesty. And if I can incorporate
Isn't that another common sense too?
Well, it is, but how many people are doing it like that?
Well, I don't think they're utilizing a lot of common sense. Hopefully that people who are listening to this show is going to be coming out more comfortable in being themselves. That's God's given thing, to be comfortable of who they are. It doesn't matter what they want to say as long as they speak it from their heart. Don't you think that that's really the truth?
It is.
And nothing but the truth, so help me God?
Yes.
Yeah, it just happens that our God is Jesus Christ. They may have other gods, which I don't have a problem with that. That's why we have this show, because before you can go in and hating somebody or hating whatever it is, right? Don't you think we need to understand each other first?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Communicate so love can grow in this world?
And like I always say at Valley Teen Ranch, acceptance is the answer to each day's problems.
That's right. Not to be judgmental.
No.
So this book, I really would like to recommend a lot of people if you have the time to check it in. And Connie has her information. Now, Connie, how do they get a hold of you? How can they order this book?
They can order it on Amazon. It's on Kindle. It's $10. Or you can see me. You can go on my website, and I believe it's on the screen right now.
Can you just say it too?
It's Connie Clendenan. .com is my website, and my email address is crc1250@comcast.net. And I live here in Fresno, and I plan to stay here in Fresno, and I'm happy to come and speak to any groups, whether it's kids groups, whether it's elders, whether it's parents, couples, young couples. I am happy and available to come and speak to your groups too, because I'm a hope dealer. And I feel like I have a message, even though I'm retired. I'm not dead. I still want to share with my life and my solutions or my thoughts or my prescription. That's what I call this, a prescription.
Excellent. Well, Connie, thank you for coming here.
You're
and I'm sure I'll be
welcome.
seeing you again with different
Yes.
topics to talk about.
Yes.
That is awesome. So everyone, you already got the information over there. Get the contact with Connie and get this book. I encourage you to get this book. It's easy to read. Like she said, it's good for even 10-year-old up to 100 if we can live that long, God willing. So we'll be right back. Thank you.